Cenpatico is a company that was designed 8 years ago to provide behavioral health services to vulnerable populations across 8 counties. What we look for is bringing recovery and resiliency to the people we serve in our communities. There are a mixture of communities, and every community has a very unique personality, so to speak. And we've tried to tailor our services to those communities. Within those 8 counties, we also serve 8 tribal nations. So we've also tried to work very carefully with our tribal partners to provide what we would consider culturally competent care for Native American consumers and individuals. One of the things that's been extremely important to me is to make sure that all of our agencies have welcoming environments and that they understand and work with the cultural needs of the individuals they serve. One of which is managing the poverty as a whole. Almost all the folks that we serve live in poverty, and therefore we need to help them with a variety of different things that have nothing to do with behavioral health and everything to do with just making sure there's food on the table tonight and a roof over your head.
These rural communities are all very, very different. Even if you're looking at, for example, Gila County. When you compare Payson to Globe, you know, Globe is a small mining town, very high in Hispanic culture, and you look at Payson, which has either very rich or very poor people living there. It is a retirement community, so you have a lot of seniors, you have a lot of people who have retired from other states to live there. Very, very different cultures, very different community makeup. The way they participate in community events is very different, and we've noticed that in all of our counties. Our newest GSA is GSA 3, and when you look at the border communities of Nogales and Douglas, and then you look at the smaller communities like Wilcox and Safford. Sierra Vista is a bigger community, but right down the street is Bisbee, which is a really small community. So we have very, very different makeups. And so when we go out there and we meet, which we have community connection specialists who go in all these communities and meet with stakeholders in those communities to understand the needs. Cenpatico really wants to work as a community partner with those communities that we serve, so that we're not only talking to the members that we serve, but we're talking to stakeholders. We're talking to other organizations that serve them, like food banks and shelters, to make sure that we can work together to meet the needs of those communities. Every year, Cenpatico takes a percentage of our profits and gives them back to the communities that we serve. We do this in a way that has our Stakeholder Advisory Board, Peer and Family Advisory Board, and our Provider Roundtable committees go through all of the proposals that we receive from community organizations, and they vote on what programs they think would most help their communities. So we get proposals from all over our counties, and we take a look at how those proposals, how the funding that we provide for those organizations might help to improve the lives of the communities we serve. So we go through, and we're right in the middle of that right now. We give for anywhere from $250,000 to $325,000 a year. So we try to spread it throughout all our GSAs, and it is probably the most fun job I have here, is to be able to work on those, looking at all those proposals and being able to call people at the end of the cycle and say, we are able to fund your project. Mountain Health and Wellness is an agency that provides services integrated health services, so both medical and behavioral health services in Apache Junction. We were able to give them some community reinvestment funds to start their Earth Heart Park. It's a community garden. They also have Cenpatico Live, which is a stage out there where they can do performances for the community.
The community reinvestment dollars for the park have been used for the infrastructure of the park. For example, we built an outdoor kitchen with that money to cook the vegetables that we grow in the garden. We've built raised garden beds that are available to our clients and also available to the community. People can sponsor those garden boxes for up to $100 a year, in which we'll provide the watering and we'll help maintain if they'd like, or they can come on the property and maintain. So it's an investment not just in Mountain Health and Wellness, but the entire community, because those are open to everyone. They've helped support the labyrinth. We built a labyrinth out there, a walking labyrinth for healing and meditation. And then the stage out front, and the stage in the garden is really for art expressions, for bands during our live events, and for speaking engagements. I think our communities don't quite understand sometimes what we do and how they can get involved, and Cenpatico is very active in the communities they serve. They're interested. The questions they ask all of us providers in our monthly meetings is, what can we do to help solve this issue? Where can we jump in to help? Ever since day one that I've worked with Cenpatico, I understand that their number one focus has been wellness of the communities they serve. And they are very active in those communities, and they also hold providers very accountable to be active in those in the communities. It's a nice collaboration.
Cenpatico has peer and family advisory councils that I attend, where our members have an opportunity to share any issues that they have with the services they're receiving, or even give some positive feedback. So it's a real opportunity for our members to be honest and to really feel like they have a choice and a voice in what's going on in their services. In my career as a peer support, I've been really blessed that I've gotten to work as an employment coordinator. I've gotten to work as a supervisor. I've gotten to work as a recovery services manager. I've got to develop programs. I'm now here at Cenpatico working as a recovery and resiliency advisor. For someone like me that has spent a lot of years being my own worst enemy, to be able to accomplish this, the sky's the limit.
The intake process isn't solely about what are you here for and what's bothering you, but what are your strengths? Who do you go for support? Who are your natural supports? Who would you call even in a crisis plan? Who would you call if you had to? And being able to draw those out in the beginning in order to know later on who we can look to for support is really important. So that way you can say, well, didn't she say that your grandma is really close to you? Maybe we should call her. Maybe she should come to your next meeting. And being able to integrate them into services is really key in getting everybody on board and their emotional health.
One of the things that we believe strongly in and we wrote to in our initial proposal was something we call voice and choice. And voice is something that brings the word of the community, the word of the people we serve back to our organization so that we can plan and do strategy appropriately, so that the right services are delivered in those communities and that we actually create things in their community that will work for their community. So we're very strong on going out and hearing that voice on a regular basis, so we do what we call community forums. And myself and our community officer go out and talk a little bit about things that are going on with Cenpatico and give plenty of time during those forums to have people ask questions, provide us additional information, and we always stay afterwards because some people really don't like to talk in a community forum but come because they'd like to meet you and like to tell you about an experience or about a situation in their community. And so we're always, not only what happens publicly, but what happens behind the scenes helps us to plan very well for those communities.
We were able to get some special funding to our providers to be able to put an interactive TV corner in each of their lobbies. And this is going to be able to provide them a lot of information on the programs that are available to them, what some different services are, how they could be helpful. It's really going to help our members understand what wellness programs might be available for them, how they could participate in different activities. It's going to have a lot of valuable information. We're really excited for what that's going to look like. So while you're waiting for your appointment, you can learn about what you can ask for from your case managers. Along with those interactive TV corners, we're going to have some learning centers that will have games for kids to play that will teach them about different services that we have. Because we're looking at integrated health, we're going to have a lot of information on different, not only behavioral health illnesses so that they could learn about their illness and about the side effects of medications, but we're going to have other physical health information so that they can learn about diabetes and any of the other kind of medical issues they may be learning about or being treated for at these integrated health clinics. So these interactive TV centers are going to be a fountain of knowledge. So while they're sitting there waiting for their appointment, they can learn all kinds of things. The technology is really exciting because they're very easy touch screens, they're fun, there are games included in there, and they're really geared towards the individuals that are sitting in front of them. So whether they're adults or children, they're going to have everything that that person needs to teach them and to get them engaged in what we have to offer them at that clinic.
A regional behavioral health authority is an organization that ensures that the services that are delivered in your community are timely, appropriate, and meet the needs of those individuals. So our job is to make sure that the quality is good, so we go out and audit regularly. We make sure that we instill best practices out there and actually pick and choose the best practices based on those areas. We oversee the agencies to make sure they're successful so that we help them from everything from claims to IT systems to clinical systems, because without them, none of us are successful. And our success is dependent on our providers' success and on the success of the folks in terms of what services they're getting.
I love going out into the communities, hearing what they need, and trying to help them come up with ways to meet those needs. That, to me, is the best part of my job, whether it is from providing funding for their special projects or just being a part of their planning committees for different events, being able to have my team there to help them. These communities are passionate about making their lives better, and so to be part of that is very exciting and very fun for me, and that is so rewarding for me to be able to see something come out of 6 months worth of meeting once a month. Then all of a sudden we have this great event where the whole community comes out and everybody is learning about all the resources. We have sometimes health fairs. We're able to give them a lot of information. It is just so rewarding to be able to see this in all different communities.
We have a 1-800 number that is a 24-hour, 365-day-a-year program that helps interface with the community and with individuals who need help. We provide that service to anybody in that community, not just the folks that we serve, so that if there's a behavioral health issue going on, that there's somebody there to talk to in that county about that issue. We also contract with what we call crisis mobile teams in those communities, so that somebody can be sent to the site within an hour so that if there's something that needs more intervention than that what can be done on the telephone, that 365, 24/7 organization actually disperses those units out and keeps track of them. One of the things that I'm a firm believer in is that adults actually recover if they have something meaningful to do every day with their time. Whether that's volunteering, whether that's gainful employment, but we really encourage all of our treatment teams to have some kind of work-related goal on a service plan, because we really believe it's that critical to the recovery of an individual. Well, I think peer supporters are really helpful for that, because you can sit down and plan that with somebody ahead of time. Because when you come into a service planning meeting, it can be a little nerve-wracking because there are so many other people there. And there's a doctor sometimes there, and there's a clinical person there, and that often makes people nervous. And they don't always then talk about the things that are important to them. And a service plan should be about what's important to you and what it is that you want to do in order to become a living, breathing, participating member of your community. Because what the services are really designed to do is to help you live, work, and play in your community.
Recovery is possible. That we are here to help you find that path to living a better life. Whatever that means for you, we want to help you do that. We want to help you be better, feel better, do better, and we just want to partner with you to get there. So tell us how we can help you, and we want to do that for you.
Recovery is really about holding hope and knowing that your life can be better and that you can reconnect and become a participating member, whether it's in your treatment team, whether that's in your community, whether that's being a member of our peer and family advisory group, which I encourage folks to participate in regularly, whether that's at the local level or whether that's at the national level, because we have one nationally, we have one regionally, and we have one in each community. And so I want people to know that it matters and what they think about things matter. Anytime you're dissatisfied, we want you to call our customer service number and to tell one of our members that you have had a situation that didn't meet with your satisfaction. That's the only way that we can know that something's not going right out in those sites. And there's a lot of them, and they're far away. So it's really helpful when people call and tell me, you know, I was at this site this morning and this happened to me, and I don't think that's how it should have happened. We then look into that. We work and train our treatment teams out in the communities then about what we expect and how to do it. Well, one of the things we know is that we have people who have more than just behavioral health issues. They're a whole person. So they're going to have physical health issues. And folks that have behavioral health issues oftentimes don't get the kind of services that they need for their physical health issues. So we've been working with our providers to do what I call integrating primary care services into the behavioral health clinics where folks are receiving services. And in that way, we have people who are sensitive to the behavioral health issues that can then really play a better role in evaluating the physical problems that they're having. And so in that, you have both your behavioral health team and your physical health team working together to make sure that you get the best care that you need.
What we want to do is work with our behavioral health providers and have them either collaborate really closely with medical providers or actually start providing medical services within their behavioral health clinics to start improving the health outcomes for our members. Because what they found out within about the last 10 years is that people with serious mental illness are dying on average about 25 years earlier than the general population. And in Arizona, that number is actually higher. It's about 32 years. And so what they've also found out through research is that if you can coordinate care and practice medical integration by having people focus on nutrition and having people focus on wellness through physical activity, you can improve those health outcomes. You can have people that have, say, depression and diabetes or schizophrenia and heart disease. By having the medical doctors and behavioral health providers working together and really coordinating that care, you can improve those health outcomes and help people live healthier and happier lives.
It is a dimension that allows for faith and hope, and so it is critical for people to get well. Without faith and hope, no energy goes into changing what's happening in your life. And so whatever that spiritual dimension looks like for our individuals, I encourage them to connect with that and to nurture that so that they can fully function and get well.